Alisha entered foster care at the age of 2. The home she was born into was deemed unsafe for her, so as a small child, she was placed with strangers. Unfortunately, her new home, the one that was supposed to be a safe place for her, was anything but. Like any child, Alisha longed to be loved and accepted. She bounced around a number of group homes and juvenile facilities until, at the age of 15, she landed in the home of Ms. Davis. For the first time in her young life, she was able to be in a stable home with people that truly cared for her. Unfortunately, their love and attention could not undo the years of abuse that Alisha had suffered already. Alisha got pregnant at 17 and never completed high school. She went on to have 2 more children through a string of abusive, unstable relationships. Despite this, Alisha was determined to keep her own children out of the foster care system. She worked hard, consistently working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. But after losing one of her jobs, Alisha found it impossible to pay her bills. She was desperate for money, anxious about keeping her children safe, with a house to live in and new clothes for the coming school year. It was at the height of her vulnerability that Alisha met a man on Facebook. He told her that she could make quick money by dancing at parties in Atlanta. He promised that the money she'd make in just a few weeks would be more than enough to pay her bills and provide for everything her children needed. So, she set out to earn money that she needed to support her family. Leaving her children in the care of her foster mother, Alisha said she was going on a short vacation with a friend and would be back in 2 weeks. Alisha's history of abuse and instability in the foster care system led her to be unusually trusting. She quickly believed the lies that the man on Facebook told her. She longed for acceptance, and she would do anything to be a good mother to her children. When Alisha arrived in Atlanta, she quickly realized she was expected to do more than just dance. She was forced to have sex with strangers and turn over all the money to the man who had lured her there. He had confiscated her identification and threatened to kill her and her family. Alisha believed that she had no choice but to do what he was demanding of her. She was drugged and raped repeatedly. Her trafficker would often pretend to drive her to a new city to create anxiety and confusion and keep her from running. At one point, she still tried to escape and had gotten away long enough to call 911. But she was so disoriented from being drugged and moved around and didn't know where she was. Sadly, Alisha was quickly recaptured and brutally punished by her trafficker. After 8 months in Atlanta, Alisha was arrested for prostitution. She told the arresting officers that she was from Virginia and she had been duped into coming to Atlanta on false pretenses. Because the law enforcement team recognized that she was a victim of trafficking, they facilitated her return home. Alisha is like so many who have aged out of the foster care system. She longed for the security and love that her childhood lacked. The trauma of the neglect and abuse that she suffered in her formative years made her vulnerable to the trafficker's empty promises. She wanted to believe that someone would have true compassion for her and her children. Traffickers target those with a history in foster care because they know they have deep emotional wounds. They promise them security and acceptance, and they prey on the vulnerability that their family history and the system so often create. The hard truth is that children often end up the adult prostitutes. The difference between a child victim of sex trafficking and an adult victim of sex trafficking is 60 seconds, said one survivor. Nothing changed as I turned 18 years old. I was still being victimized. It was still something I didn't want to be doing. As a minor, she is seen as a victim. As an adult, she is seen as a prostitute. As a child, she was abused, and it was not her fault. As an adult, her abuse continued, and it was not her choice.